Hello and welcome to the Coaches Show on SportsNetUSA.net, 90.1 FM, KBPK, in conjunction with Fullerton College TV. Fullerton College just pulled out a victory against Cerritos, 33-26. They were able to come away with the win. Marcus Kirkpatrick, who you'll see me interview in just a couple of minutes, ended the game. Fullerton was able to come away with the win with only 12 seconds left after Cerritos started a drive. They looked like they were going to come back. Fullerton was actually down for most of the game, all the way until about 3 minutes left in the third quarter when Tinsley was able to connect with a touchdown pass at the end there. Fullerton able to come away with the win. Jake Brito, who ended up with 70 yards rushing. When you look at Cerritos, they ended up with over 270 passing yards, but the big story is the way that Fullerton was able to lock down on defense in that second half and come away with tonight's win. You're going to see me get interviews with Junior Gauta before the game today, and he was talking to me about the defensive ends, what they needed to do in order to shut down the Cerritos offense, and they were able to come away with 5 different sacks. One of them forced the fumble that allowed Fullerton to get into the end zone. Not to mention, as always, you're going to have Tim Burns, the head coach of the Fullerton College Hornets, his reaction and what he's looking forward to in next week's game. Also, Coach Bob Moran, as he will tell me what it was that allows Fullerton to be so explosive. So I'm here with Coach Junior Gauta, defensive line coach here at Fullerton College, on site at Cerritos. Coach, what are you looking for in the game against Cerritos?
Well, we just want to bring the same intensity we did last week against Mount Sac, and hopefully come out with the win. But these guys are ready. We prepared all week, so we're ready to get after it.
In terms of your defensive ends, what are you liking so far about this season?
Well, we've been getting after the quarterback a lot, so especially with Gilmore, one of our defensive ends. He had a big play for us last week. So him along with some of our veterans like Adrian Lomelli. So we're ready to get after it.
Now, when you look at this season, what's your top priority in teaching these guys as they're progressing?
Well, one of the main things we stress on, me and Coach Dustin Sober, is effort. We can't teach effort. It has to come from within. So that's the main thing we teach is effort, and accountability. Especially this year with our young guys, a lot of the new guys this year. So we look to hold those guys accountable too, as well as the vets.
When I talked with Coach Sober just a couple weeks ago, I asked him what it is that helps defensive ends. He said speed and quickness. How much does that play into the position?
Well, it has a lot to do with the game, especially on a defensive standpoint. You need your guys to hold the edge and, keep the quarterback in the pocket. So, each and every day we stress that, to our guys and especially our ends, to keep it inside so, our inside guys can make a play.
When they're going up against an offensive line, what's the most important thing that you can stress when they are rushing the quarterback?
Just staying on our rush lanes. A couple of times we got our middle guys, our 1 and our 3 tech, we kind of, went outside, and so the quarterback has room to step up. So we just, stress to stay in our rush lanes. Wherever you're at, rush from there. All right, we don't need to get outside of our gaps.
Well, thank you, Coach. I'll let you get back.
I appreciate it.
So I'm catching up with Tim Burns, head coach of the Fullerton College Hornets. Coach, thrilling win on Saturday. What was your initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction is we should win, not, but always happy to beat a good football team like that.
You guys were down in that first half, but in the second half, you guys just came out, fire. You ended up outscoring them 17-6.
We played good defense the second half. First half, we did not play very good defense, and obviously our season's going to go on how our defense performs, and I think you're going to get a great effort again this week like you did the second half of last week.
Now, seeing how Walker had almost 200 yards passing in that first half, the defense was able to come in, shut him down in the second. What allowed them to get so much success on Walker in the second half?
That's a great receiver. That player, that kid's probably the best receiver in the state, I would imagine. I don't know anybody we're going to face that's better than him. And he beat us, but I think we made some adjustments and warmed down a little bit in the second half and had some success.
Is it crucial to make sure that you have the correct matchup like you saw with Whitaker in that game against Cerritos?
I mean, when you mean correct matchup, obviously we had to send out 3 or 4 DBs to guard them, and we took that, and then we started playing over the top of them. That helped us out a little bit for preventing the big play.
Trey Tinsley ended up with 245 yards passing. What allowed him to be so good in that second half?
He played a good game all the way around. I thought both quarterbacks played good games, and like I said, we need that each and every week.
Now, you guys did end up winning the game because Marcus Kirkpatrick was able to seal it with that interception. What was going in your head while they were driving at the end there?
You know, I thought we'd come up with a play. I really did. I think, camping the week before, and defense came up with a big sack and turnover. And I just, I look at those guys' eyes. That's a veteran kid, and he stepped up and made a play. That's what it takes. That's what, when you have good football teams, veterans step up and make plays, or people make plays, and we've done that 2 weeks in a row.
Now, you mentioned looking in their eyes, knowing that they're going to have a big play. When you're watching them in practice, do you get a sense of what Saturday is going to go like?
I think you always root for good practice. If you have good, solid practice, and Saturday should go pretty good. Obviously, you'll never know until you step out there on the field, and this week will be another test. We're going to get everybody's best shot, which happens every single week. So you watch film, they don't look that good, and then you go out and play, and they're a lot better than they look. That's just what happens when you have success, and so that's what we're dealing with.
Now, on Saturday, there were a couple, shall we say, debatable calls. How do you make sure that you stay calm?
I can't worry about the calls. I think they happen both ways. I think we got a little bit more of them because we play a lot more physical. When you play physical football, you're going to get a few more penalties.
I wanted to ask you about that run game. Are you guys more of a coverage run football team or just pound it right up the middle?
I think we're more of a pound it, but we haven't been able to pound it yet this year. Partially it's because of the defenses, but I think we're getting there. We're going to get on these guys a little bit harder this week and make sure they're ready to play nasty, hard-ass football. And if they get that done, we're going to be successful.
Now, seeing that you have a group of very good receivers to go along with Tinsley, even Jordan Wiley in the limited time that he's seen so far, what has allowed them to be so successful in hauling the ball down?
Like I said, I think it's a very talented group, and they've been coached well, and they're working hard, and that's what we could ask for. And so far, it's worked out pretty good for us.
Now, in the past 2 games, you guys have pulled out victories when you needed it. Would you call this team clutch in a pressure situation?
I think what's good is they've won games in the critical points and taking care of business there. But we need to go out and win a football game after the first quarter, second quarter, and not let these things drag into the second half of football games. If we're able to do that, then I think we're going to be a great football team. If we continue playing last-second games, sooner or later, the luck's not going to fall on your side, or somebody will make a mistake, and then it'll cost you a game here or there. So our goal, I think, each and every week is to start to finish teams instead of play with teams, finish teams.
So get on them early and often?
Get on them early and often and play through the third, fourth quarter.
So I'm here with the guy who ended the game for Fullerton, Marcus Kirkpatrick, defensive back. Marcus, going into that play, what are you thinking?
Well, I had went down a couple of plays prior to that. My leg was hurting. I'm not going to lie to you. It was hurting, but my teammates said, we need you. So you feel me? I prayed. Got right. He tried me on the slant, and I knew it. I knew they were going to try me because they just saw I went down. I knew they was going to try me. He got me. I said, okay. He's coming right back to it. I already knew he was coming right back to it. He did that inside, jammed him up, seen the ball, just went for it, grabbed it. And I said, that's for the team. We winning. So that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to win. So if it came down to me making the play, then so be it. And that's what ended up happening. So we got the dub, and that's for the team. It's for the team. Praise God.
So that was Marcus Kirkpatrick, defensive back for the Fullerton College Hornets, with the sealing interception for the victory. And the cameraman on that interview was Ricardo Zapata. He is the cameraman who follows the Hornets around throughout the entire season, taking great action shots, practice shots, during game shots. In fact, yesterday, he even tweeted out a bird's eye view of when the Fullerton College Hornets get pumped up, ready to go for the game, and they come out of the entrance gate and onto the field. You can follow him on Twitter at Zapata Photo, and also at fullcall_FB. You can also follow him on Instagram. So I'm catching up with Bob Moran, offensive coordinator for the Fullerton College Hornets. Coach Moran, against Cerritos, 245 passing yards. What allowed you guys to be so good?
Well, Cerritos, their defensive plan was to kind of sell out to stop the run. In fact, the last two opponents, they did it in slightly different ways, but their plan was to load the box and to give us single coverage outside. So Mount Sac was basically one-on-one with the outside receivers. Against Cerritos, they played some coverages to trips where they took the free safety and they cheated him to rob the number 3 receiver. So that gave us a lot of 2-on-2 opportunities into the boundary with the split end and the running back out of the backfield. And then we were able to throw deep a couple times off of play action. So I guess that explains our passing yards.
Now, seeing how dynamic that you have that duo in Marcouche and Tinsley, what do you prefer? Do you like them to go one-on-one against a defense?
Great question. First of all, our pass offense starts with protection. Okay, and we've done an exceptional job the last 2 weeks in protecting the passer. And at times when they have brought the extra blitzer, Trey has done a good job of beating the extra man and getting the ball out on time. But as far as favorite receivers, every receiver that releases into the pass route is an eligible and viable receiver. And so where Trey goes with the football is pretty much dictated by coverage. There are certain looks that opponents give us where they kind of advertise where the one-on-one is, and then obviously he's going to take advantage of the one-on-one, and then we need to have good route content and timing and throw the ball out at proper depth.
Looking at your experience, you've been here for a little over 10 years. What have you seen in the Fullerton College offense that has changed over the years?
Some of our staples are the same. We like to be a downhill power running team that utilizes tight ends and fullbacks and utilizes play action. But like anything else, there's a system, but the system has to be malleable, it has to be flexible, and utilize the talents that you have that varies from year to year. So we're doing a little bit more split backs, we're doing a little bit more empty protection, and run pass options where the quarterback has the option to hand the ball off or throw based on what his read key tells. So we kind of have to modify what we do to the talents that we have coming in. So if we have fewer tight ends, fewer fullbacks, then we need to be in more 3 and 4 receiver sets to take advantage of the personnel that we have. So you have to be flexible.
Now, you just mentioned the run-pass option. That has been coming into the college game more. Is it important to adapt with how the game is flowing over the years?
That's a good point. And there is a defensive trend now in 3 receiver sets and 4 receiver sets where they apex a linebacker. And that means that he's kind of in the box and he's kind of not in the box. And it's a guessing game about what he's going to do. So if you have the ability to read him post-snap, then the quarterback gets to hold the grease pen last. And if he's playing in the box, you replace him with the throw. If he's playing outside the box, you hand the ball off. And then you got to have an answer if they do that, when they bring blitz.
Now, when you're looking at a defense for the first time in-game, how do you improvise according to what they're showing you? Should it be different from the film?
Great question. And because sometimes you have a plan off their film, and that's what you decide to practice against. You can't, before game week, you can't be in the other team's meeting room, you can't be in their locker room, so you kind of have to work off what they show, and at the same time during the week, practice against a cross-sections of looks in case they don't give you what you show on film, that you've got some staple plays that you've run in training camp that you can fall back on. So we see the changes and say, okay, what training camp plays can we now run based on the game plan that they have presented, Saturday night.
So this was the Coaches Show, and I am Ryan Osborn on SportsNetUSA.net, 90.1 FM KBPK, in conjunction with Fullerton College TV.